Assalamu alaikum. I welcome all the viewers of this video. This video is one of the videos by Sindh College Lecture Series, an initiative taken by Sindh Education Department. My name is Syeda Mehak Zehra and I am lecturer in English posted at Govt. Dr. Zuberi College of Home Economics, Hyderabad. It is indeed a great initiative taken by Department of Education Sindh to provide an online platform to our students and teachers for continuing the process of education and learning. You all know that this process was discontinued for some time because of the pandemic with which we all are suffering these days. But I hope that you all are following the suggested procedures and staying home for your safety and for the safety of everyone around you. So without further ado, we are going to start our first lecture, and today we are going to discuss one act play. It's one of the books of first year syllabus English, and it is the second one act play given in your book. Its name is Progress, written by an Irish writer, St. John Irving. Before coming to this play, we need to understand certain things, and that is what melodrama is and what do we mean by one act play, because melodrama and one act play are different from other kinds of play. So firstly, you need to understand how they are different from other plays. Along with it, we are also going to discuss the division of one act play, the elements of one act play. After that, I'll tell you about the story, about the plot of this play, about the characters of this play. We are surely going to discuss about all of that briefly when we will discuss the summary of this play. But the students are suggested to read this melodrama from their textbooks for their better understanding, because if you will rely on the summary and the character sketch, I assure you that you will not be able to understand this play completely, because you will not get its essence, the beauty of the dialogues written by the writer. And if you want to understand all that, you need to read the text from your textbook, because it will not only improve your language but also help you enhancing your imagination and your thought building process, and all these things are very important for you as a students. So students, in literature we have many different genres such as novel, poetry, drama, essay, and in novels, and there are other many kinds, but in dramas also there are various different kinds of dramas. There are comedy dramas, tragedy, farce, melodrama, and the dramas given in your book are melodrama. And how they are different from other dramas? Because they have different elements that dominate such kind of dramas. In melodramas, they are mostly sensational, with a lot of suspense in them, a lot of thrill in them, and they have exaggerated characters. There you will see that the characters given in melodrama are very powerful, and by exaggerated characters I mean that characters in melodrama are very rich in emotions. They are written in such way by the writer that they instantly move their audience and they grasp their attention. And here at this point, it is very important to tell you that dramas are meant to perform. They are to perform on the stage, and novels are written to read. So in melodramas, The beauty of dialogue is mostly manifested through their performance. Whatever writer writes cannot be completed if it is not performed well. And I hope you understand that what do we mean by melodrama. This is the question that is asked in your examination. Therefore, it is important for the students to have an understanding of melodrama. Melodrama is a kind of drama that has thrill, suspense, a lot of element of sensational element in it, and their characters are exaggerated, and mostly such type of dramas have an happy ending. So after understanding what melodrama is, we need to learn about one-act plays. What do we mean by one-act play? So students, one-act play is a short play that consists of only one act. This kind of plays have only one act in them. Now you must be confused about what do we mean by act. So I would like to give you an example that you mostly watch dramas on television and you see that they are also divided. They are divided in episodes. Episode number 1, episode number 2, and so forth. Similarly, drama has divisions. Dramas are divided, and that is how they are written. Dramas are divided in act. So we do have dramas that are consist of more than one act, and they are not short, they are long dramas. So they do have one act, act 1, act 2, act 3. But the dramas that are included in your syllabus consist of only one act, but they are further divided. They are further divided in scenes. The students, we have learned that drama follows certain definite structure and it has division, and it is mainly divided into acts and scenes. I can give you an example of a clock. You must have noticed that clock is divided into hours, and hours are divided into minutes, and minutes are divided into seconds. Similarly, any play is also divided into acts, and the acts are also divided into scenes. Acts are further divided into scenes. So if we talk about the plays that consist of only one act, and they are based on only one act, such plays are also divided into scenes, and there can be 2 or more than 2 scenes in it. You can also say that a group of scenes make an act. Now question arises, what is scene? What do we mean by scene? Scene is one part of the action, and it usually begins when the setting changes. By setting I mean when time and place in the situation changes. Scene shifts and scene changes with it. If you have read your first melodrama, that is The Count's Revenge, you must have noticed that the scene 1 opens in the house of Count of Morcerf in Rue du Helder, and then it shifts to the other house, the house of Count of Monte Cristo in Champs Elysees in scene 2. And with that shift from house of Count of Morcerf to the house of Count of Monte Cristo, scene changes, because a change comes in place. Place changes, therefore scene shifts. So scene shifts with the change in time and place, and that is the main division of the play. Play, be it be it a play that is consists of one act only or the plays that is consist of many acts, they are divided into acts, and acts are further divided into scenes. I hope you understand all that. There are four main elements of one act play: theme, plot, characters, and dialogues. Any play or drama has certain theme that it follows. For example, a drama that is based on revenge has a revenge theme. A drama that is telling you about your country and has a patriotic theme. Drama that is based on science fiction has a theme of science fiction. Drama based on historical events has a theme of history. Drama based on romance has a romantic theme. Drama that is about inventions has a theme of invention. Drama that has a theme of adventure. So dramas or play are different thematically, and they have these various subjects on which they are based. Plot. Plot is a storyline on which a story is written. It's a chain of events, and it includes all the events of the story, and it tells you how characters are building. It tells you the progress of the characters and what is happening with them in the story, and how they are facing challenges and problems and whatever is coming in their life. So plot is actually a base that includes all the significant elements of the story, and without plot no drama or play exists. Characters. Obviously, without character there can be no drama or play. Characters are the faces, they are the people, they are the profession, they are the relatives through which we find the story engaging. So the characters are the people who are expressing themselves through dialogues, and they are telling you a story. So whatever is going on with the characters is actually become an event of a story of a play. So characters are very important. So in your melodrama, the melodramas that we are going to discuss or that we are studying in our syllabus, there are various characters. We do find Count of Monte Cristo, Count of Morcerf. We have Mrs. Maldon, Professor Henry Corey. So all Mercedes and Albert, the character of Albert. So all these characters have their own peculiarities. Some characters you'll find are very coward, some are brave, some are knights, some are very cruel, some are good at heart. So they're different from one another, and together they make a story. So in the story of a drama, you find there are villain, there are heroine and a hero, protagonist, antagonist of the play, through which story progress. Last but not the least are the dialogues. Dialogues are the expressions by the characters in the story, telling you about the story. So dialogues are very important. Why? Because that is all what writer is telling you. So the characters are speaking through their dialogues to you, and they are actually introducing themselves, telling you about them through these dialogues, and they're different, and they're written in a different manner. Sometimes you feel that these dialogues are very expressive, very powerful, and they have a lot of energy, and they are very engaging, and they have a great message. um, in dialogues you find love, in dialogues you find hate, you find adventure through dialogues, because these are the bits that are actually making or building your characters, and the characters are building your plot, and plot is building your theme, and they all together make a play, a drama. So all these elements are very important for any play or drama. Apart of them, there are other elements also, but that are relevant in more twisty and complex plays. In the simple plays like one act play, these are the main elements that we have to discuss, and I hope you understand them. So this play Progress is an anti-war play, and it's written after World War One, and it mainly shows the adverse effect of war, and how war changes the life of families who lost their loved ones in it. So this play, was written after World War One, and you know that World War One was very destructive war, and many were killed in it. Many more became disabled for life, and thousands were butchered. Many mothers became childless. Many people became lifeless. So it was not very pleasant. It was very devastating. So this play was written under such circumstances. It was written after that. So it has theme that is anti-war. Also, this play highlights the. On the other hand, it also tells us about the people or a mindset that get benefits out of war, and war is an important thing for them. It's a very beneficial, productive, progressive thing for them. Why? Because this is a chance for them to flourish, to make money, to get benefits. So such people are weapon manufacturing companies, the scientists that are into into inventions of such deadly bombs, and selling their inventions, and making money. So actually this is the reason why we always have such crises in the world, and this is the reason why we are we are almost deprived of complete peace in this world. Why? Because there are people out there who are getting benefits out of this war situation, and they're making money, they're making business out of it. So this although this play is written after World War One, but it is very current in theme. You can relate it with the world crisis even now. So you will find people who are against war, and you will find people who are in the favor of all that destruction and all that war. So two conflicting ideas in this play are moving side by side, and that is how it is written. And the writer St. John Irving has knitted this two conflicting ideas very beautifully. And sometimes it seems that both the characters, actually there are three main characters in this play, two main characters and one side character, Professor Henry Curie and his sister, Mrs. Meldon. So you'll uh, find them busy, and they're totally engaged in debating about that viewpoint. You will find Professor talking in the favor of war, and Mrs. Meldon is all against war. So each one you will find defending their viewpoint, the viewpoint that they have earned through the experience of their life. Because one is professor, and he is finding progress in his work. He is finding satisfaction in what he is doing throughout his life. He has devoted all his life to it. And on the other hand, you find a sad woman who lost her son. So both the characters, both of them are talking out of their experience. So you will find them talking about it until one of them wins over the other. And if you want to find who won finally, so you have to read this play from your textbook, and I would suggest all the students to read it from your textbook. Please do read it, and don't rely on the summary and the notes that you have, because in that way you will not get the essence and the beauty of the dialogues. Also, it will help you in improving your language. So it's very important to read the text. So this melodrama, as I told you, has 3 living characters named Professor Henry Corey, Mrs. Meldon, and Hannah. That's maid of Professor Henry Corey. Along with them, we do have 2 other characters. But these characters are not living, they are dead. But they are very much present in the story, and you will find their reference throughout the play. So they are important too. So the scene opens and led in the study room of Professor Henry Corey, who is a scientist living a bachelor life. You'll find him totally busy in his invention. His age is about 50 and 60. Seems to be someone who has very low interest, very less interest in life and the people around him. All he was interested in was his invention. So he was so absorbed in his work that he forgot to bring his sister from railway station that day. He had to bring her sister home from railway station, and he totally forgot it because he was busy doing something related to his invention. Mrs. Meldon arrived all herself, and Hannah knocked the door of the study and reminded Professor Henry Corey about Mrs. Meldon, who was already there in the house, and she asked if Professor wants to have his tea upstairs or with her sister downstairs. Mrs. Meldon is a widow and who lost her husband and her son, and the only person alive from her family was Professor Henry Corey. So she was all sad and she was all gloomy because she lost her son in a war, and she visited her brother on Eddie's death. Eddie is Mrs. Meldon's son. It was Eddie's death anniversary, and she had no idea that her brother is engaged something he think is more important than his family. So when Hannah informed Professor So Professor asked Hannah to bring his sister and upstairs where he was working on his invention. So he wanted to have his tea with her sister upstairs in his study. He was very happy that day because whatever he was doing, he got success in it, and he successfully invented a deadly bomb, and he wanted to share this news with his sister. So you will find him having long conversations, rich in emotions, defending their viewpoints, argumenting. So, for knowing the details, because I cannot tell you everything in the summary, if you want to know that, what they talk about, what their conversation was like, you have to read the text. So he shared his success with his sister, and he told her that he has invented something that is going to change the whole idea of war and make it more prompt, will make it more horrifying, and will make it more quick and more destructive and more dreadful. He told her everything that was very horrible to listen for Mrs. Meldon. A lady who lost her son in war. So Mrs. Meldon, who already, she was very upset that day because she came to know how exactly Eddie died in the war, and how she was suffering with the cruelty of war, and she was imagining how her son, her only son, lost his life in a trench, and how a destructive bomb destroyed his life, and she lost whatever she had, because she loved her son so much. So it was super painful for her to listen to his brothers talk about her brother talking about the creation that is going to bring so much destruction in the world. So it was indeed painful for Mrs. Meldon to know that her brother is creating something that can kill millions of innocent people like Eddie, and many mothers like her would lose their son in this destructive game, in this business. So Henry Corey, you will find him very selfish, and you will find him very unpatriotic when he talk about selling his invention to other countries as well, if you won't get a satisfying amount from his own country. So for his personal benefits, he wanted to do anything. So he didn't stop talking about his dreadful invention, and Mrs. Meldon just couldn't stand it, and she requested her brother to give up the whole idea of his invention, for it will bring a great destruction in this world. But Professor Corey thought that Mrs. Meldon is being just too sentimental, and he's a woman, and he's just thinking she's not thinking about the profits, and she's not having a statesman view, and she is talking out of her emotions, because her emotions are taking over her, and she has no idea that what a great invention her brother has created. And Professor Henry Corey thought that his sister is senseless, and he totally ignored her plea and her request to give up his idea of destroying his invention. But Mrs. Melton said that all do is to stop. She can do anything to stop her brother. And after realizing that his brother is not understanding that his invention can be so horrifying that there will be so many people will just lose their life because of it, and he was not going to abolish this idea. He's not going to give up on this invention. So she finally took a decision, and she stood up and she smashed all the apparatus and all that invention that was going on the table, all that experiment he was doing, the retorts and the apparatus. She smashed them. She just turned the table. Professor got very angry and told her that all she did was a mess in his room, and she cannot destroy his invention by doing such things, because the whole formula was saved with him in his brain, and all she did was a mess in Professor's study. So Mrs. Melton, taken over by her emotions, thinking about Eddie so much, feeling a betrayal from her brother, who was not going to understand the viewpoint of his sister, she finally stabbed her brother and killed Professor Henry Corey. And then she cried and said that she had to do it for Eddie and many more people, many more sons, many more young army men, like her son. So here the play ended.